Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. We are doing a lovely interview with my beautiful client here, Miss Claudia. Thank you, Claudia, for being with us today. Claudia is a talented real estate agent and a mama and a GMA, as we just discussed. We are going to share a little bit about Claudia's journey. She's been able to help heal her blood sugar issues and some gut imbalances, and she's going to share with us how she's doing that. So that can help all of you who are struggling with gut issues or blood sugar imbalances. Thank you for being here, Claudia.
Thank you for having me, Curia.
Absolutely. So before we started working together in January, so it's been about 6 months now, what programs or approaches had you tried before, and why didn't those really work for you?
Well, I'm not one to jump on the bandwagon with programs per se, but I did over the last, oh my gosh, since I've been in my teens trying to discover what the problem is with my sugar. Most people that know me know that I shook constantly for my lifetime. And for the last 10 years, 15 years, I've had gut issues. So I've gone to the doctor intermittently, a series of doctors, and had a series of tests, including colonoscopies and endoscopies. And it was always the same thing, just everything. The sugar wasn't even ever addressed. Nope, there's nothing wrong with you. And the gut issues were all lumped into, you have IBS. So what does that tell me? It never told me anything, and they certainly didn't know how to direct me in a way that was going to make it better.
When you started, how quickly were you able to see results?
Well, I started with you in a 5-day program that you offered in January. And once again, I'm not one to jump on a bandwagon. However, knowing you for your lifetime and having the privilege to know your character, your integrity, and how hard you work, it encouraged me to step out on that limb and actually do the 5-day and make the commitment. And I immediately saw results within the first 5 days. Personal health results, which encouraged me to continue with you.
Yeah, I remember one of our first calls together, you were showing me your hands and they weren't shaking anymore.
Yep.
Yeah. And
look at that.
Yeah. And how long had you been kind of shaky from the low blood sugar in the past?
Since as far back as I can remember, 14. Maybe even a little earlier, junior high school.
Yeah. So decades of some blood sugar imbalances. And then just for anybody watching who has had similar struggles in the past with blood sugar, what's like one tip or something that you did to just fix that in 5 days?
Well, the 5-day program taught me immediately that if I made the commitment to eat glass-free, and glass-free is everywhere on your sites, but it's gluten, lactose, alcohol, sugar, and soy-free. Just omitting those things from my diet. Was that easy? No, because I didn't know that everything I was eating had all that crap in it. But when I started reading labels, I realized that I was just dousing myself daily with all of, well, not the alcohol, but all that stuff. So I made that commitment for those 5 days. That's all I could do was the 5-day commitment. But I did that and I saw immediate results. So that's what happened.
It's pretty good. And the 5-day program that Claudia is talking about is our Eat Like a Goddess guide, which is free. You can just go to my website and download that, and the link to download that for free will be below in this video. So you can all try that on your own. Let's see, what were some of the struggles that you overcame in the past few months, and how have you been able to still make progress?
One of my, probably two. One of them was my intake of water was, I just didn't understand how that worked with my body. So it was a struggle to understand that I have to hydrate my body properly every single day. The other thing, without going into detail about either one of them, the other thing was how my brain likes sugar. And I get sugar cravings. And even though I have it in my head intellectually that I'm not going to eat sugar, for some reason it comes back every day and it kind of shakes my brain and says, you need sugar. So those have been challenges. And I'm not saying this hasn't been challenge free. However, making the commitment, I'm just one, I make the commitment, no matter what happens, I'm going to follow through with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's such good advice for anybody watching who, you know, wants to improve their health. It's really about what you're saying, just making that commitment and following through. Mm-hmm. You also decided to do the functional blood chemistry analysis, the FBCA. For anybody who doesn't really know what that is, could you explain what that is briefly and how it helped to transform your health?
Well, it's a blood test that Curia orders. We get through Curia and she orders the blood test, and we go to our local lab, like a LabCorp, and have this blood test done, and a urinalysis as well. And I will say that I've had them done many, many times in my years, but never to the degree that was done in this test that she ordered. And not only that, but it wasn't analyzed. That A in FBCA is having it analyzed, and you know, blood. Tell them what the FBCA stands for.
Functional blood chemistry analysis.
Right. So she analyzes it and breaks it down. And I wish I would have done it at the beginning of working with her, but I didn't. And, you know, everything happens for a reason, but I have had it done now, and it was life altering for me. It answered so many questions about the things that I said at the beginning of our chat here that I had been struggling with for a lifetime. And then Curia gives me all the information on how I can fix that. Ka-ching! That's gold to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when we first had our meeting about it, and you were like, finally some answers, right? Because like decades of not really knowing why things were out of balance, and you just started that because you did your FBCA recently, so it's been a couple of weeks of doing your diet and lifestyle and mindset and supplements, and you're already noticing some changes, yes?
Well, you know, and just to clear up, I'm not, and you know this, but a lot of people don't, there's not a diet. I am just changed my eating habits and what I'm putting in my body. And I'm eating as much as I was before. It's just what I'm eating is different. And weight loss has never been on my list of things that I wanted to do. However, I have lost 15 pounds without even trying by altering my eating habits and the things that I put in my body. So not only am I, experiencing the joys of these problems, the sugar issues and the gut issues, slowly but surely being healed up, but I've also enjoyed, unbeknownst to me, weight loss.
It's a nice extra benefit without even trying.
Right.
Yeah. So after doing the Eat Like a Goddess guide, doing the 5-day challenge, you decided to join us in our Goddess Health Club, and you've been an awesome member in that ever since. What is your favorite part of that program?
There's a couple of them, but just the continuing education that I'm getting with you, because it doesn't happen overnight. And just because I make a commitment doesn't mean I'm going to absorb all the information. And sometimes I felt overwhelmed, but you broke it down into little things that I could do that took that feeling away and that helped me be successful. I know for a fact I wouldn't be where I'm at with my health and the progress with my health without you involved here. So that's, you know, after all this time of trying to figure out through the doctors and professionals what is wrong with me and not having that success, and now I'm having that success because of you and my involvement with you. So it's important. It was important for me to continue on that journey. Once again, I'm not one to jump on the bandwagon, but this program, sometimes people will balk because there's a price involved. Well, you've invested years and years of your life and time and heart, and helping people and learning how to help people. And so the price was very small.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great point to bring up. What would you say to people who are considering joining the program but are hesitant to invest in themselves?
Oh boy. I don't know. I think it's a personal thing where you just have to come to a point someday and say, I don't want to feel like this any longer. I want to figure out what I can do. And there's no trade-off for me now because I know different. But it was a moment, it's been a while that I thought maybe I was worth feeling better, that maybe there is another answer than going to the doctors and having them rebuke that I'm not feeling well. And for me, the pain was so bad. This wasn't uncomfortable. This was excruciating pain in my gut. So yeah, I had to get to that point before I said, okay, I give. But, and I wish I hadn't waited long like that. Mm-hmm. But I didn't, but I'm on the right journey now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you've already mentioned, you lost weight and you weren't even trying to. Your gut is healing, your blood sugar is stabilized, and even energy and sleep, all these different things. You said your skin feels more, healthy and vibrant. And then I also know about your family too, and it's made some benefits in your family. Would you share about that as well?
Well, unbeknownst to my husband, he ended up eating the way I've been eating. And when I started this program, he had been diagnosed as a pre-diabetic, also with other issues that they gave him a handful of pills. And then when COVID broke out, we went to Mexico, to our place in Mexico, and we're down there. And he just didn't want to take that handful of pills. So unbeknownst to me, he didn't take the pills they gave him. And he started eating the way I was eating. And lo and behold, when we returned 2 months later and he had his blood work done again, all of the things that were wrong were now back in normal ranges without the medication. Not only that, but he has lost 20 plus pounds in the last 4 months of eating like I do, and just feeling better all the way around. So he, the residuals of me taking care of me has, it spilled over onto his health, and he's very grateful. And he wanted me to let you know that he's really, really grateful.
That's awesome. That's made me so happy the first time I heard that. It's like 2 for the price of 1,
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, I got my money's worth.
And he's being so supportive of you on your journey and open to trying new things. And even just for anybody watching, again, just using that Eat Like a Goddess guide and eating glass-free, which is an anti-inflammatory diet, that can make such a huge improvement, which is great to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What would you say to people who are considering joining the program, but they feel afraid that they don't have enough time, or they're afraid of failure, things like that?
Well, failure was never an option for me, but I do understand the time thing. And I had a little trouble falling into that with my schedule as a real estate agent, and then being absent with COVID out of the country. I will say that there's no trade-off. And when you start feeling better, then you start realizing that the time that you're putting towards this program and making yourself feel better is really, really worth it. It was hard for me. I'm not going to say it wasn't, because I'm really, really busy between all my different hats. But little by little, and with your encouragement to break it down into little pieces and help me understand what was important as we're going along, now I think I've made that commitment too.
Yeah.
So don't worry, she helps you with it.
Yeah, we're all in it together. It really is a personalized program, so you have support step by step. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I love to ask people is, what's one or maybe 2 things that you've learned since starting that has really changed your life? Just for anybody watching, a tip that you could share that would really help them to help themselves at home.
Ooh. Well, like you said, it's a personalized program, so everybody's going to have their own thing. Um, I think that understanding, there's all the cliches, you're worth it, and and people are like hearing it all the time, but really believing it. And I wish I would have believed. I don't believe that I'm not worth it. I just never thought that I had the time to invest in me. And it's taken me all these years. So I'm really happy to see a lot of these younger women in the program and taking care of themselves and finding out the benefits of these programs, and eating properly. Eating properly, it has affected me physically, it has affected me emotionally. I don't need to be taking hormones. I don't need to be taking, I'm not antidepressants. All of that has gone from my life in the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's incredible. Do you feel like it's sustainable? Like, do you feel like you've learned a lot that you could apply to the rest of your life, or do you feel like it's really, 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 really hard?
That's a really good question. It's not hard anymore. It's normal. And every once in a while, if I'm somewhere where, say, for instance, somebody has a big piece of cheesecake, and I'll take a little slice because, my brain is still telling me sometimes. But then when I put it in my mouth, it doesn't taste good. It doesn't register the same way. So I can't see going backwards. I can't see, especially when I got a brain full of what's good for me. I can't see why I would go backwards. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's a way of life. And it's a good way of life. I'm happy. I've got great stuff to eat.
You do. I've seen some things that you've been cooking, and it looks great. I guess just to kind of close, what would you say to, pretend like you're giving advice to your friends who are thinking of joining the program, or just people in general, but they don't know that they're worth it? What would you say?
I would say don't wait as long as I did, because the quality of life that I was giving up because of my health issues was really sad. And I watched my mom do that. And I watched my mom make some really, really difficult decisions because she had the same problems and didn't have the doctors, and certainly didn't have Kyria's Health Goddess program. And I was looking at making those decisions for myself because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know where else to turn. Like I said, I wish I would have known that this option was there earlier for me. And I think that a lot of people are just starting to realize that the doctors don't go to school for nutrition. They go to school to to distribute medication. Doesn't make them bad. It's just that's what they learn. So when I was turning to doctors all the time for my answers, they didn't have it. And my own brother-in-law is a doctor. And I asked him, did they teach you nutrition in all those years of medical school? And he said, absolutely not. So finding answers in your nutrition with a certified nutritionist like yourself is the only way it was going to work for me. That's first and foremost. And we find a way to go on vacations. We find a way to buy that new couch we want. We find a way to make those big old car payments for 5 years. Find a way to just put out that little bit of money to make yourself feel better for the rest of your life. Small comparison in price.
That's great advice. We love having you in the program, and it's so fun to meet with you weekly, and we laugh together and sometimes cry together and all of the good things. So thank you for being such an awesome part of the team, and thank you for sharing your advice and your experience with us today.
Thank you, Kyria, and all the rest of the ladies in this program that we share our weekly meetings, and if you so choose to have the ability to be online with, or private chats, and when there's moments where we come to those abrupt halts of, uh-oh, what do we do? There's somebody, you're always there for us, regardless of what we're crying or whining about. But it's nice to have these other ladies to check in with each other, because somebody's always got an answer for us any time of the day or night.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about your experience, or you feel complete?
Feel complete. I feel complete. I'm really just now that we've done the FBCA, which is a vital part of this program, and I wish, like I said, you know, would haves, could haves, and should haves, but I would encourage anybody that has the opportunity to do that with you to do it. Because it'll answer a lot of questions and tell you things that you didn't even know. I found out things that I didn't know that have made a big change for me. And then taking the supplements that you've recommended and you walking through it step by step by step by step, every little turn with me. Once again, I couldn't do that on my own. So that to me is a huge part of this program, and we encourage people to invest in that with you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always fun to have people do both the FBCA and this program where we have our weekly meetings and everything, but it is
Absolutely.
an option for people just to do the FBCA. That's even available for men too, kind of a la carte or just on the side, but it really is nice to meet weekly. So thank you so much. I think many people will be inspired by your story and how you've been able to transform your health so quickly and effectively and sustainably. So thank you again for sharing with us.
Thank you, Curia. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.